All right, welcome to another deep dive. You know the drill. You're here to really understand something deeply.
Yeah.
And today we're going to do it efficiently and effectively with chewing.
Chewing. Yeah, mastication.
Mastication.
It's so funny because it's like such a basic thing
Yeah.
you do all the time and you never think about.
Never.
But we've got a good mix today. We've got like the Wikipedia overview.
Yeah.
We've got a Psychology Today article that gets into some of the cognitive stuff.
Yeah.
And even like just the straight definitions, you know?
So we can be sure
we're
on solid ground.
Exactly.
So today we're going to uncover all the surprising roles that this really basic action plays in our bodies and in our minds.
I'm excited.
Let's do it.
All right.
So what happens when we chew?
Okay. So at its most basic level, chewing or mastication is just the mechanical process of crushing and grinding food with your teeth.
Okay.
It's the first step in digestion.
Right.
And it's so important because it increases the surface area of the food.
Okay, so why is that important?
Well, because that's how your digestive enzymes can really access everything.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So it's all about like maximizing the contact points.
Like opening it all up.
Exactly. And it's quite a coordinated effort in there.
What else is going on?
Your cheeks and your tongue are moving food around, making sure it's positioned between your teeth.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
For optimal grinding, and your jaw muscles are constantly moving in this cycle of your teeth coming together, which is called occlusion. And then opening up again.
Okay, so it's like...
Yeah. It's a whole...
It's a whole system in there.
Yes.
Okay, so is there more going on than just that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like...
So as you chew, food is softened, it's warmed to body temperature.
Okay.
It's mixed with saliva, which starts to break down carbohydrates.
Okay.
And when you've chewed enough, that mass of food becomes what's called a bolus.
Bolus.
Which is like a soft, moist package ready to be swallowed.
Okay, yeah.
That's ready for the next stage.
Okay.
And you know what's really interesting is that there's research that suggests that how much you chew is directly linked to the release of certain gut hormones.
Really?
Yeah. And some studies have indicated that chewing more thoroughly might make you feel less hungry and actually reduce your food intake.
That's wild.
Nice.
So it's not just breaking it down.
No, it's like
signaling something.
It's like sending signals to your brain.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Okay, so we've always been chewing, though. Right?
You would think, right? But get this, there's evidence of chewing gum from 9,000 years ago.
No way.
I know archaeologists have found birch bark tar in northern Europe.
Oh, wow.
That has tooth marks on it.
What?
So they think people were chewing it.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Like gum.
So we've always just wanted to chew on things.
Right.
Huh. Okay. So chewing, this mechanical chewing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like a mammal thing.
It is primarily a mammalian adaptation. So that super specialized chewing with teeth designed for grinding, that's mostly mammals.
Okay.
It's thought to have evolved first in early synapsids.
Synapsids.
Which are the ancient ancestors of mammals.
Oh, cool.
But it's interesting because some plant-eating dinosaurs also developed similar chewing mechanisms independently.
So it was like a useful thing.
Yeah, it was a useful adaptation for animals that needed to really process their food.
Yeah.
And today, only mammals truly chew in this way.
Okay.
Some fish have behaviors that look kind of like chewing.
Okay.
But like birds, amphibians, and reptiles don't chew.
Huh. So they just swallow it whole.
Pretty much.
It's wild.
Imagine a snake trying to grind up its food.
I can't even imagine.
Right.
Okay, so what about pre-mastication?
Pre-mastication. Oh, yeah.
What is that?
That's when a parent, often a human parent feeding a baby, chews the food in their own mouth to make a soft bolus and then transfers it to the baby's mouth. So it's like pre-digesting the food for the baby.
Like a built-in food processor.
Exactly. And other animals do this too.
Oh, cool.
And then there's rumination.
Rumination, which I think of as like cows.
Cows, yeah. Cattle, sheep, deer.
Yeah.
They chew their food twice.
I knew that.
Right, so they swallow it partially chewed.
Yeah.
Then they regurgitate it back up as cud.
Right.
And chew it again.
Yeah.
Super thoroughly.
Thoroughly.
And there's research that shows that they actually chew more intensively during the night.
What?
I know, isn't that weird?
That's so strange.
But I don't know, they must be really...
Like getting all the
nutrients out during their sleep.
Wow.
And the article brings up a cool comparison to dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So ornithopod dinosaurs, particularly the hadrosaurids.
Hadrosaurids.
Which are also known as duck-billed dinosaurs from the Cretaceous period.
Okay.
They had teeth that functioned similarly to molars and incisors. In mammals, and this cowl-like dentition probably allowed them to break down tough plants really effectively.
Okay.
Which could have given them an advantage over sauropods.
Okay.
Which didn't really chew.
So chewing was like a good evolutionary move.
Yeah, seems like it.
Okay, so let's get into the brain stuff.
Yeah.
Because we know chewing's automatic, but it's not just like random jaw movements.
No.
It's got to be controlled by something.
Yeah, exactly. It's controlled by the nervous system.
Okay.
So chewing feels unconscious, like it's semi-autonomic.
Yeah.
But we can definitely consciously influence it.
Okay.
And scientists have proposed the existence of what they call a chewing motor program.
A chewing motor program.
In our central nervous system.
Okay.
And you can think of this as like a preset sequence of instructions.
Okay.
That governs how we chew.
Okay, so like a program for chewing.
Yeah. Basically.
That's so interesting.
And so the brain gets feedback from sensory nerves in our teeth and in the temporomandibular joints.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's where your jaw connects to your skull.
Right.
And this feedback helps shape the neural pathways that control chewing.
So it's like my mouth is talking to my brain.
Yeah, exactly.
While I'm chewing.
And this motor program, it's not fixed. It adapts
to what?
To the food you're eating.
Okay.
To changes in your teeth over time.
So it's like a learned skill.
Yeah.
So like you said, someone who gets dentures,
right,
they have to relearn how to chew.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
And conscious control can help us prevent bad habits.
Okay, so like teeth grinding.
Teeth grinding, jaw clenching, especially during sleep or when we're stressed.
Yeah.
And there's a theory that if the chewing motor program gets overstimulated, maybe because of pain or misalignment, it can contribute to these habits.
Yeah, so much is going on.
I know.
Okay, so this is all really interesting. But why does it matter?
So it matters for nutrition. As we talked about, chewing stimulates saliva, which is important for digestion.
Right.
It helps you swallow. And it helps you experience the taste and texture of food, which can actually influence when you feel full.
Really?
And you know that study with almonds?
Yeah.
People who chewed almonds between 25 and 40 times per almond.
That's so many chews.
I know.
Right? They reported feeling fuller.
Okay.
And they absorbed more nutrients.
Wow.
Compared to those who chewed less.
So chewing more is good for you.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Okay.
And a 2015 review found that chewing more can reduce hunger and food intake.
Interesting.
But on the flip side, if you have chewing difficulties, maybe because of tooth loss, you might eat less fruits and vegetables.
Oh, because they're harder to chew.
Exactly.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so good chewing is important for a good diet.
Right.
And the brain connection.
Yeah, let's get into that.
This is the really cool stuff.
Okay.
So chewing stimulates the hippocampus. That's the memory part of the brain.
Yes, exactly. And chewing seems to be crucial for keeping the hippocampus working properly.
Really?
And studies have shown that chewing can stimulate neurogenesis.
Neurogenesis.
Which is the growth of new brain cells.
Wow, so chewing helps your brain grow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, and that Psychology Today article was all about brain antioxidants.
Right, so it focused on how chewing harder things can affect brain antioxidants.
Okay.
And we already know that chewing increases blood flow to the brain.
Yeah.
But this new research found that chewing wood...
Chewing wood.
Yeah, a moderately hard type of wood.
Okay.
It increased levels of glutathione.
Glutathione.
Which is a really important brain antioxidant.
Okay, so glutathione is like a protector.
Yes, it protects brain cells from damage caused by oxidative stress.
Okay, and oxidative stress is like...
It's like an imbalance where harmful molecules called free radicals, they overwhelm the body's ability to neutralize them.
Got it.
And that leads to damage. And oxidative stress is a big factor in brain aging and neurodegenerative conditions.
So glutathione is good.
Glutathione is crucial.
Okay, and the study wanted to see if chewing harder things made a difference.
Exactly. They figured that chewing something harder would require more effort and might trigger a bigger neurochemical response.
Okay, so how do they test this?
So they had 52 healthy university students in South Korea.
Okay.
And they divided them into two groups.
Okay.
One group chewed on wooden sticks for 5 minutes.
Okay.
The other group chewed on paraffin wax gum for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And they used magnetic resonance spectroscopy, or MRS, with the megapress method to measure glutathione levels in the anterior cingulate cortex.
Anterior cingulate cortex, or ACC?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the ACC is involved in cognitive functions, like cognitive control.
Got it.
And they had a specific chewing protocol.
Like how to chew?
Yeah, they had to chew on the right side of their mouth at a consistent pace. 30 seconds chewing, 30 seconds rest.
For the whole 5 minutes?
For the whole 5 minutes.
Okay.
And they did cognitive tests, too.
Okay, so what happened?
So the wood chewing group, they had a significant increase in glutathione in the ACC.
Okay.
But the gum chewing group did not. And get this, in the wood chewing group, the increase in glutathione was correlated with better memory test performance.
So chewing harder things makes you smarter.
Well, they did better on the memory test.
Yeah.
So it seems like it could have that effect.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It suggests that chewing harder things could boost your brain's antioxidant defenses and maybe improve cognitive function.
That's amazing.
And there aren't many ways to increase glutathione in the brain.
Yeah.
So this is really promising.
So maybe we should all be chewing on wood.
Well, not necessarily wood, but maybe incorporating more harder foods into our diets could be beneficial, especially as we age and become more susceptible to oxidative stress and cognitive decline. So it makes you think about like all the soft processed foods that are so common. And maybe we're missing out on some benefits. But the article does mention some limitations of the study. So it was done on young, healthy university students. So we don't know if the same would be true for older adults or people with health conditions. And they only looked at the ACC. So we don't know about other brain regions. And they only chewed for 5 minutes. So we don't know about long-term effects.
And we can't just chew wood all the time.
Exactly. So more research is needed.
But
it's a really exciting start.
It is.
And then there's that whole other use of the word mastication.
Oh, yeah, for machines.
So the U.S. Forest Service uses the word masticator to describe a type of heavy machinery.
What kind of machine?
It's sometimes called a forestry mulching machine. And it basically chews through dense brush and small trees to clear land. So it's like a metaphor.
Based on the grinding action.
Exactly.
So we've gone from chewing in our mouths to machines chewing up forests. Pretty interesting.
And just to wrap up, the dictionary definition of mastication is simply the act of chewing food. It's from the late Latin word mastication.
A mastication.
Which means the act of chewing.
Okay.
And you'll see it used in all sorts of contexts, from science to metaphors.
So chewing is a pretty big deal.
It is. It's more than we think.
It's way more than we think.
It's got these ancient roots.
Yeah.
It's controlled by this complex system.
Yeah.
It affects our nutrition and our brain health.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, so listeners, the main thing to take away today is that chewing is not just the first step in digestion. It's this complex, ancient process controlled by a sophisticated system in your brain. And it's linked to your physical and cognitive well-being.
Exactly.
And this new research suggests that chewing harder things could actually be good for your brain. So think about that. What other basic things that you do every day might have unexpected effects?
It's fascinating to think about.
It really is.
How everything is connected.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on another deep dive.
Of course.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.